Don't need no feedback. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Live with Uncle David. Sorry I'm late. Having a couple of little technical difficulties, but nonetheless, the show will go on. I am here. Let's see. Can y'all hear me? Looks like the thing is moving. So somebody can hear me somewhere. Is anybody here? Anybody? Somebody. Gotta say some. Oops. Oh. That's somebody else's video. Video. Looks like I ain't the only one that had problems with equipment and stuff. Good, I don't feel so bad. All right. Shout out to the 0 people in the room. Do you love me? Woo-hoo. I guess they can't hear me. I guess they don't love me. People in the room. Hey, Phelan, what's up, my brother? Thank you for coming through. How you doing? Thank you. Good to have you here. Appreciate that thumbs up. I guess I better give myself one. Don't make sense to tell people to give me one and I ain't even do it myself. Let's see. Something's missing. I ain't figured out what it is yet. Hey, Sonia. Thank you for coming through. How you doing? Okay. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Trying to get this mic set up. Oh, la, 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 la. Yeah, I've been relegated to the back room tonight. Center stage is being used. Aunt Maddie is working on some stuff. Well, hello, Dalton. How you doing? Yeah, Auntie's working on some stuff, so she needed the main room. So here I am. But hey, like I said, the show must go on. Y'all have to excuse me. Although the camera's off, I still need to see. So you may hear me in here spritzing, cleaning my glasses off. Please don't forget, stop by the Love Stream tomorrow, starting with Bay and Bay TV. They're on from 5 to 6. Aunt Maddie TV is 6 to 7. I will be on from 7 to 8. And More Eats, Miss Boom 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 herself, will be on from 8 to 9. Those hours, the times are subject to change because we will have, I think, at least one additional person, I believe, that'll be coming on board. So instead of having everybody sitting here for a whole hour, we're probably going to try to cut it down to, 30-minute intervals. So that's the plan. Thank you for sharing me out, Aunt Maddie. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Somebody trying to call me? Nobody I need to talk to. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to switch this. Oh, it's already on. Alrighty, can y'all hear me out there? Hello? Take that one loose. All right, can y'all hear me? I can't hear myself. Hello? Oh, there it is. Now I can hear me. Can y'all hear me? All right. That sounds a lot better. Okay. Thank you, Dalton. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah, I been following this Daunte Martin thing. And I mean Daunte Wright, I'm sorry. And it's kind of crazy to me. And I'm still trying to figure out why this stuff is happening. I mean, really, you would think that they would figure it out, but I don't understand what it is. What's up, G fam? G fam. Why is it that they're so afraid of of young black men? Well, black men, period. I notice that it's a lot of the young ones, um, and it's crazy to me. I truly don't understand it. I don't know. I mean, I know, and I guess that I want to. I hate to think that people just don't like somebody because of the color of their skin. But hey, what's going on, Jack? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. That you can hate somebody because of their skin color, and it's not just you know whites hating blacks. It's the opposite way. It's people just hate people. You have people that hate their own. People just hate. But I guess for me, it's just kind of crazy because I have sons, and now they're grown, granted, and they have a grasp of what's going on and what they're doing, and how to handle it. But I also have grandsons who are teenagers, and hey, Tony Reed, thank you for coming through. And the crazy thing is, you know, when when I learned how to drive, and when I was taught Cutie Chewy how to drive, and my youngest son, now my oldest son, he was a different breed. He probably knew how to drive when he was born, but that's just him. He's one of a kind. But you teach them, you get in the car, you check your mirrors, you put your seatbelt on, you make sure this is done and this is done. But now, like with my grandsons, not only do you have to teach them that, but you have to teach them how to respond when you get pulled over by the police. Now, it used to be just make sure you give them your license and your registration, and you have that readily available. And now, insurance, you make sure you have that readily available. Now it's you have to speak a certain way. You can't. You have to limit your movement. You don't want to seem threatening. You don't want to do anything to aggravate them. And it is sad that people have to ride around or walk around or carry themselves like they're walking on eggshells because you're worried about, what's this officer thinking? Like I was watching a video yesterday, and they released it was a shooting in New Orleans, and they shot the young man in the leg. Well, the crazy part was when the officer got out of the car, the body cam was on, and they showed the picture of the officer standing at the car with his hand behind his back, with his gun in his hand, which means when he got out of the car, the first thing he did was unholstered his weapon. How does that make sense to me? Especially, I mean, I get it. I understand that, they're under a lot of pressure. You pull these people over and you really don't know what's going on. But is your first instinct, your first thought is, okay, they're going to do something to hurt me. So I got to be ready. That just doesn't, I, I it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not a police officer, so I really don't know. And maybe down there, wherever they were, there was something going on, but that's your first thought is to, I'm gonna take my gun out as soon as I get out the car. I don't know what's going on, but hey, I'm gonna stand here with my gun ready. It's behind my back and I'm ready. So if they try something, I'm shooting. That's so crazy when they protesting was right by my house. Somewhere here in Minnesota, I heard gunshots. I said, "What the heck?" I got scared. Yeah, we're. It's a crazy time. I think a lot of these police be on some Pablo Escobar. Hey, now, granted, G, they're human beings, and you know they go through some of the same. They have a very stressful job, and yeah, but that comes with the territory. And if you feel like you're that stressed out, maybe you need to talk to somebody. But it's like, hey, it's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with them. You know, I see 4 or 5 of them together. They got to be up to something. Yeah. Well, it's not G, but it happens. Be it police shooting people or people just shooting people. And I was Aunt Maddie and I were talking, and she was like, she was talking to our daughter, and she was like, well, maybe it's because they're talking about the guns and everybody trying to get a gun. Okay, fine, everybody's trying to get a gun, so everybody's getting a gun to shoot each other. I mean, I'm not just talking about the police shooting people. I'm just talking about people shooting people, period. Now, granted, when you are approached by a police officer, we were taught to be, respectful and, courteous, because they are, you know, official people and they're supposed to be respectful of, all of that stuff. Just like any job, no passion or integrity for the company some work for. One has to be a people person to deal with people first and foremost. That's right. If you don't like people, then you probably shouldn't be working a job that deals with people. And that's not just, I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about if you're working retail, in any job that requires you to interact with people, whether it's on the phone or whether it is in person. If you are required to work with people, then you should probably like people. I mean, that's the least, because if you don't like dealing with people, and you sign up for a job that requires you to interact, then you've already messed yourself up from the beginning. You probably should just rethink your career choice. Now, I get it. Sometimes we have to work jobs that we don't want, but you have to be able, if you're working a job that you don't like, because right now that's the best you can do, then you have to do what the job requires, and you have to put your pride aside. You have to put your own personal feelings aside and say, hey, I signed up for this job. When they asked me could I do the job, I said yes, I can do the job, and so I'm going to do the job. In the real world, yeah. In a perfect world, yeah, that's the expectation. My best friend joined the protest, but I was praying for him. That's all I could do. I was not about to go out there, and so I stayed home, watched TV, and could not sleep last night. Hey, it's we need more peaceful communication, love for one another, fix the little things before they escalate. Well, see, here's the deal with that. And my son and I were my son and I were talking, and for as much as we want to have these big kumbaya moments and everybody get along, the Rodney King thing, why we just can't get along. Just like anything in life, there is a yin and a yang. There's a pro and a con. That is just how life is. You have to have something to push it back. And I use the analogy of a football game. My job is to get to the end zone. Their job is to keep me from the end zone. So that goes on throughout the entire game. That's just like life. You'll have people that want to do right or trying to do right or or doing right, but then you have those that are going to go. There's always going to be an opposite. Always. That is the way of the world, and people have to understand that. All that I wish, it ain't happening. The reality is that's just how life is. So what we have to do is try to mitigate those circumstances. Yes, tug of war. Exactly. The moment you clock in on any shift, you have agreed to accept what's before you, and it's not personal, it's business. What's up, Tay? Yeah, well, see, yeah. But then there's, everybody's not mature enough to understand that either. You know, if you are, you go home, you get off work and you go home, and wherever it is you live and whatever your surroundings are, the people that you deal with, that you come in contact with, the people that you surround yourself with, that has a lot to do with how you react to certain situations. And so, you go to work and then you come home and it's rah 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 rah, rah. And then, some people aren't able to leave that. I was always told you don't take home to work and you don't bring work home. I'm glad you are enjoying your nephew, Tay, and enjoying while you can. Ooh, excuse me, while they're little. Because I guarantee you, once they get older, and yeah, yeah, he's gonna be a handful. You'll be like, "Hey, sis, you got to take this boy. I need a break." But that's there's some people that just they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to keep their emotions in check, whether it's a chemical imbalance or it's just that they don't want to. Some people react a certain way because their brains are wired different. Mental health issues are real. But you also have some people that do it just because they want to be contrary. Good days, bad days, you win some, lose some. But at the end of the day, you control the joystick of your life. God gave the ability to make a choice. Life is truly what we make it. Yes. And the thing is, we are the only thing that we can control is what we do. We have no control over somebody else's actions. So, the best thing you can do if like these kids did, I was watching the video and the dude he was cussing at the police and he was being a butthole. Now he didn't threaten them, but he was like, talking aggressive, you know, What the F you looking at? Why you over here by my effing car and blah, 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 blah. F this, I'll sign, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool, bro. You know, and a lot of times people will say, well, yeah, you know, he handled it like a soldier. That's how you supposed to handle it. Well, a lot of these soldiers that are handling it the way you say they're supposed to handle it, it don't always turn out that way. Now, not everybody that gets into it with the police has been, you know, argumentative and aggressive, from what I understand. But like I said, when that officer, I saw that officer, the picture of that officer standing beside the car with his gun out. I'm like, what in the world? Did I, maybe I missed something. Maybe there was an altercation, something. But when I was reading once they, put out the report and people were talking, it was like, no, even the chief was like, he didn't understand, what was going on, and they would definitely be looking into it. So it's really crazy out here. And like I said, I have two grandsons, and I all I can do is hope that the lessons that we teach them, and the guidance that we give them, that they will use it, and that it will help, and they will understand that my mother should tell me all the time that you don't have to go to every argument that you're invited to. And so sometimes it's okay to just sit back and just let, because, you know, it takes two people to have an argument or an altercation. And sometimes we have to put our pride in our pocket and say, hey, okay, you know what? I'm going to let this one ride because I'm basically in a no-win situation. Because if there's more than one officer, you're pretty much screwed. Because I can guarantee you, if the only people that are around are those two officers and their body cams, they'll figure out a way to spin it and make it work in their favor. They just will. There was an article, but there was a young lady who she got fired because an officer put somebody in a chokehold, and she actually stepped in and tried to stop him from doing it. Well, the officer punched her in the face, and it went up. Whatever process they did, she was fired, which meant she lost her pension, any benefits that she was supposed to get, all of that stuff. So she filed a lawsuit, which she rightfully did, and she ended up winning. Now, she didn't get her job back. She probably wouldn't want it back anyway. But she did end up getting all her benefits and her back pay and all of that stuff. You speaking truth. Simple principles will take us far. Example is not what you do, but how you do it. Not what you say, but how you say it. Not what you wear, but how you wear it, and so on. That is absolutely right. It's you know, like I said, people they make assumptions based on what they see and what they hear, and not from necessarily from you, but from people that look like you. Self-respect and discipline is key in life, and know what to overlook in many situations is what makes one wise. Yes, but you know, a lot of times they have the camera on. You see the guy sitting in the car and they got the camera on, and you know they gotta put on a show, or they got their buddies in the car. You can't let them think you're a punk. You can't let them think you're scared, because they will definitely call you on it when you get back in the hood. But for me, I would rather, like, I was my nephew had posted something about he would rather just go to jail and sort it out after he got the hearing, get post bail or whatever it is, rather than stand there and go through a whole bunch of stuff and not even make it to the precinct. So you have to, you have to pick and choose your battles. And if you're going up against the police, you're outnumbered. Even if it's just that one officer there right then and there. Even if it's 10 of you and 3 of them, you're outnumbered. Trust me when I tell you, you'll always be outnumbered. So what you have to do is make sure that you do your part. You can't be responsible for how somebody else reacts. And that's just life, period. How they act is how they act, and that's not your responsibility. That ain't your job. Your job is to look out for you, take care of you, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. Because you just there's no way that you can be responsible for somebody else's stuff. That's just not how life works. That's why no matter what, how good we try and we stick up for ourselves, we just got to enjoy every moment and ride till the wheels fall off. So now, I know I am going to enjoy this ride, and I'm going to do the best I can with what I have and stay in my lane. Try not to make too much of a ruckus. So, but to have to walk on eggshells, worried about somebody else's foolishness. Hey, Miss Yvette, how are you? Thank you for coming through. I greatly appreciate it. You can't worry about that person that you just can't. You can't. You have to take care of you first. Self-preservation is the number one rule in the jungle. Because if you don't take care of you, you definitely can't take care of nothing else or nobody else. So, you know, that's just how we have to carry things. Now, I came across a Facebook post. Now I need to try to find it that I found very interesting. Of course, it's not here. Guess I have to read it another time. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hope everybody that came in gave me a thumbs up. I certainly appreciate it. Don't forget the love stream will be on tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock with Bay and Bay TV, followed by Aunt Maddie TV, then B Hop Nation TV. And then after me, we go over to More Eats. That is the love stream, baby. So if you get a chance tomorrow, even if you can't stop by all of them, stop by at least 4 of them. Okay, that'll be all of them. Okay. I'll try to see if y'all was paying attention. Yeah, but if you get a chance, stop by. Network, and with some of the other YouTube content creators, and also with some of our great supporters. Because, like I say, we are nothing without the supporters. They are the backbone of YouTube. Thank you, Miss Yvette. Yeah, they are the backbone. The supporters are the backbone of YouTube. Because without them, who are you making content for? Because if you're making content for content creators, it's not going to work out. Because if you once you are truly into creating content, and if YouTube is going to be your vehicle of moving forward and making money, you're going to have to invest a whole lot of time into this. It's the same with anything else. In order to be good at it, you have to put in time and effort. And so trying to sit and watch other content creators, now you can watch them, to get other ideas, and that would be, but you're not going to sit and watch all 125 of their videos. It's just not realistically possible. And then that covers, not just that one person, but you have the average person that has, you know, an abundance of videos. Now, are you going to really sit there and watch each and every video? Because if you're doing that, how do you have time to create your own content? Because you spent so much time watching somebody else that you haven't even had time to create anything. So there's nobody watching you. So as everybody else's pockets get fat because you're watching all their videos, well, and I'm not saying it or trying to be mean or callous, but it is the reality of what this is. It just is. And so, you know, like I said, I try to, tell it the way I see it. That's just how I see it. And if others see it different, then that's cool. You're everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And that's another thing, is that we don't know how to agree to disagree. It's, I'm right, my opinion is the best. What I'm saying is, is what goes. I don't care nothing about what you're saying. Now that turns into a whole argument, a whole thing. Welcome back, Dalton. It turns into a whole thing because we can't figure out that we need to agree to disagree. That maybe, you know, if you come in it with an open mind, maybe you'll hear something that makes sense. But if you're just, a lot of times people, they don't listen to hear. They listen so that they can find out what they're going to say. They're planning their rebuttal and not even hearing what the other person is saying. They're standing there and they're waiting. And as soon as they come up for air, I'm jumping right in with whatever it is I feel should be said, because they're not hearing me. All they keep saying is what they think and what they think and what they think and what they think and how they feel. That's not healthy. To think that the world revolves around you and that your opinion is the only one. Nah. But if that's how you get through life, have at it. But it's got to be a lonely existence. That when people don't want to be around you because you think you know everything, because you can't or won't listen to what somebody else has to say. Because what we do is we get caught up in our emotions. And once you get caught up in your emotions, it's kind of hard to turn that off. I remember I was talking to a guy one day. He was talking about how he just saw red. Something happened, and he just saw red, and next thing he knew, he done beat this dude half to death. And For what? He said he couldn't remember why he beat him up in the first place. I think he may have said something, out of the way, and he got caught up in his emotions and he let him have it. Well, there's consequences for stuff like that. He ended up, you know, going to court. Now, luckily, because he didn't have any charges ever against him. He got probation and had to pay, do some community service and had to pay a couple of fines and stuff. But that's time that you've lost, money that you've lost. Now you could get the money back, but what you cannot get back and what is non-refundable is time. The time you lose is lost. You can never get it back. You can't go back to yesterday and say, hey, you know what? At 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to 5:10, I was goofing off. I need to go get that 10 minutes back. All right, 10 minutes is gone. So you have to think about what you're doing before you do it. And a lot of times people say, well, everything happened so fast, I didn't know what to do. You'd be surprised at how fast your brain can calculate a moment, a movement, and tell you that, hey, you need to stop. How many times have we seen people just get upset and do stuff and be like, man, I wish I hadn't done it. You know, I didn't think. Yeah, obviously you didn't. But that excuse, but it happened too fast. Nah, that ain't how that worked. Because the brain is an amazing thing. We don't even use all our brain potential. We don't. So it is an amazing thing, and if you, uh, you know, use it the right way and get to know how much you'd be surprised at how much knowledge or how much you can pick up and things. Now, after you start to get, a little up there, yeah, the brain does, it just does. It's like anything else. A car gets old and so do people. Some parts can be changed, but there's some that can't. You can get a new heart, but you can't get a new brain. That just once the brain is gone, that's it. So I tell kids, like my grandkids, I tell them enjoy your childhood while you're a child. I remember I used to say, I can't wait to get grown. Man, when I got grown, I'm like, oh, I wish I was a kid again. My dad would tell me, yeah, when you turn 18, life is just gonna shoot by. Now understanding that, what he said, it didn't make sense at the time. But when I got turned 18, when I graduated from high school, next thing you know, I was working. Then I look up, I'm married, and I got kids, grandkids. Cat dog. Yeah. And it seemed like it was slow, but I mean, time moves the way time moves. It moves the same way every day. Sometimes it seems like, you could be doing something, it seems like time ain't moving, and sometimes you're doing something, it seems like you don't have enough time. You always hear people say, I didn't have enough time to do something. You had plenty of time. We all have the same amount of time. The clock ticks 24 hours every day for everybody. And we may be in different time zones, but you still got the same 24 hours. Hey, Gavin, welcome in. Please make sure you give me a thumbs up. Watch one of my videos, leave a genuine comment. Let me know that you were here, and I promise to get back over to you and check you out. If you are a supporter, thank you. As I said, the supporters are the backbone of YouTube. Don't forget, tomorrow is the Love Stream. Starts at 5 o'clock with Bay and Bay TV, followed by Aunt Maddie TV, Beehive Nation TV, and then More Eats. That's every Wednesday and Friday. That is the Love Stream, where you can go and network with YouTube content creators and supporters. All right. The more the merrier. So I appreciate you coming through, Gavin. And we got about roughly close to 10 minutes left. I thank you. Hey, Lisa. I am doing well. How about yourself? I have no complaints. Don't do no good anyway, but I really don't have any complaints. Does me no good. And don't nobody really want to hear it anyway. We all got our own thing to do or that we going through. Yeah, but I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through and hanging with me, listening to me just ramble about stuff. Sometimes I feel like the crazy uncle who just be sitting and talking about stuff. I'm good, Unc. I feel the same. No reason to complain because, yeah. And besides that, a person that complains, that shows that they are not grateful for what they have. And gratitude is one of the keys to success. Because if you're not grateful for what you have, how can you expect to get more? You know, man, how can you? You're working a job that you hate, and instead of just going in and doing the job until something good comes along, all you do is wake up in the morning. Oh man, I gotta go to this job that I hate, riding this car that I don't like, work with these people that I can't stand. Always in the foul mood. You cannot expect to gain anything from that. Because the universe will feel like, well, hell, they don't like what they got right now. Why would I give them more? Thank you, Be Hype, and I am. You both are always appreciated and heartwarming and definitely motivational. It is my absolute pleasure, G, and thank you for always, always showing up. Thank you. You have no idea how appreciated you are. Really. Hey, the ASMR Ice Twins. What's going on, twin? It's if you're not grateful for what you have, if you're constantly complaining, I mean, that's got to be I mean, how do you have people that wake up in the morning and the first thing they say is, man, this floor is cold. I can't stand this floor, and blah, 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 blah. And after that, it's all downhill. You complain about the toothpaste, complain about the traffic, complain about the mailman, the milkman. Hey, you know what? We don't even have milkmen no more. Remember, they used to deliver milk in the truck. I remember the Good Humor ice cream truck. Y'all, there's anybody in here old enough to remember the Good Humor ice cream truck? And I ain't talking about the big. I'm talking about the little truck that had the little bells on it, and they actually wore uniforms. That was crazy. As I look back, they had the white uniforms. They ride the trucks with the blue bell. Jing-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. They get out the truck, open up the back, sell your ice cream that way. Shoot, now you walk up to the ice cream truck, they look like armored vehicles. They got the little teeny window, the plexiglass. I'm like, man, like you walk in the store, even before the pandemic. Now I know, I understand now why they had the little stuff up for the pandemic, but even before that, you had the people, with the big old glass, like the even like in the taxis, they have the big plexiglass stuff. And excuse me, I remember my dad used to drive a cab, and I know, and he would get off work and hit the streets in his cab. And my mother, I mean, she would worry, and because it got to the point where, along that time when my dad was driving cabs, it started to get really rough. They were robbing cab drivers, and they didn't have the plexiglass stuff. And so my mother, she would be on pins and needles every night. I couldn't sleep because she couldn't sleep. She'd be like, go to bed. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm going to bed. And I'd be laying there, and I could hear her pacing and, whatever. And I knew she wasn't asleep. So I would just lay there. And then once my dad got home, I could hear the sigh of relief. And, I could hear, the joy when he would come through the door, and she'd be, and then that was it. Times have changed for real. A big salute to all women and mothers and wives, especially our grandparents. Well, speaking of grandparents, now I only met one of my grandparents, and that was my grandmother, my mother's mother. Now it's almost time for me to go, so I won't tell that story about my grandma. But what I will tell you about my grandma, she was mean. I never in my life met anybody as mean as my grandma. And I thought it was just with me and, and us. Nah, she was always mean. My mother said she'd throw shoes. It was. My brother told me how she would get up in the morning and vacuum the floor. And she had this one little throw rug, and she'd get up at 5:00 in the morning and throw the rug right there, because my brother and they slept in the basement, and she would get up every morning and vacuum that little James Guy, thank you, my brother, for coming through. Appreciate that. She'd throw that little throw rug in the floor and just vacuum it. Just to make noise, just to disturb them. Yeah, that was my grandma. She was she was something. She was really something. But hell, look what the cat dragged in. Hey, Sonia. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. Although it's almost quitting time. But hey, like I say, nobody's never late. As long as you get here and the lights is on, you ain't late. So yeah. Nah, you're not late, Sonia. I told you you're okay, huh? How you feeling? Nah, can't nobody be mean as my grandma. I mean, I know, you get old and you get mean. And you get ornery, but that lady, she just as soon cuss us out. But I will tell you, one day we used to mess with her. Because she slept in the little room because she was living with us because well, nobody else wanted to take her because nobody wanted to deal with it. Plus, it was her house, so the deal was, my mother, and father, we could move in the house, but we had, she came with it. Now, once she was gone, the house belonged to my mother and father, or my mother. But one day, we used to mess with her, me and my little brother, and we pick at her. Hey, Alfie. And so I peeped around the corner one day and she's like, baby, why y'all keep messing with me? Come here for a minute. So I go in there because I was feeling sorry for her because she was crying and she was sitting there and she was like, y'all, y'all just keep messing with me and I don't know why y'all keep doing this and y'all just pick at me and blah, 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 blah. Y'all know I'm an old lady. My little punk ass sitting there, I start crying. I'm like, Grandma, I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry. We gonna stop. I'm sorry. I promise you. I get up. I'm barely out the door. And all I hear her say, y'all little black motherfuckers. Oh, see, now I done sat in here and I done cried with you. I done tried to break bread with you. I tried to make peace and all that stuff. And what you do? That's how you gonna treat us? Cool. Just so you know, the war is on. Hmm. I picked with that lady till they rolled her ass up out of there. Now I wasn't glad that she was gone. I actually did grow to love her. But yeah, congratulations, Alfie. But that moment, man, I'm like, I couldn't believe she pulled you talking about the okey doke. She pulled the serious okey doke. She said that, she was crying. And crocodile tears. First off, I should have known something was wrong because I couldn't believe the lady could cry. I think she probably poked herself in the eyes or something. I didn't think she had a soul. I promise you I didn't. Wow. Oh, well, see, they deserve to get shot at for drinking the gin. You don't. That's one thing. My grandma, she didn't drink, at least not that I know of. Yeah. Well, see, they deserve that. You don't mess. Come on, you don't mess. That's like, and you don't mess with old folks' corn liquor either. Shoot, I remember I drank some of my daddy's corn liquor. Now he didn't fuss or nothing because he knew what it was going to do to me. He got a big kick out of it. Yeah, they don't play about they. Shh. That's like me and my pop tarts. I don't play about my pop tarts. Don't mess with my pop tarts. I'll give you a kidney. I'll even cut off a piece of my lung. But I guarantee you, it's going to take a whole hell of an effort for me to share pop tart. My grandkids, they already know. I gave my granddaughter a pop tart one day. She damn near fainted. Really, granddad? For real? She was just standing there waiting for me to take it back. But I just felt, giving. That's right. Stealing the liquor like stealing the money, especially that corn. Shoot. I didn't know what corn liquor was. till I hung out in the country with my cousins and stuff. But when I got home, my daddy would bring that stuff back and he would hide it in the bar, under in the back in the corner of the bar. And one night I was feeling a little nosy. So I go back there and I find it. I'm like, what is this? I get me a little glass and I pour it and I drink it. That shit burnt. Oh goodness. I mean, it felt like it burnt all my insides. And I'm sitting there, I'm playing music, I'm chilling. Yeah, they are sweet, but when you've been eating Pop Tarts since the age of like 7, yeah, kind of sticks with you. Yeah, I started like 7, and I'm 59, so yeah, I got over 50 years in. I tried to break up with them. They won't let me break up. They be stalking me when I go in the store. Like I go in there's a gas station down the street from where I live, and I go in there, get gas or other stuff, and the Pop Tarts is right by the door, right there. I mean, they just. And I have to talk to myself before I get out the car. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get no Pop Tart. I'm not gonna get the Pop Tart. I'm not gonna get the Pop Tart. Just gonna walk in, get what you gotta get, and get out. I walk in the door. Psst. They start talking to me. Come here, let me tell you something. I'm like, I broke up with you. I don't love you no more. I don't want to be with you no more. Leave me alone. I go to the cash register. And for some reason they always somehow end up in the bag. In the man's hand, he ring them up, throw them in the bag. I'm like, man, nope. Rice cakes. That's just like eating paper. Really, Sonia? I just saw what you said. Ben and Jerry? Girl. Mm, mm, mm. Oh my goodness. Girl, you need help. But you definitely in the wrong room if you try. Anybody that feel like they need therapy, they are definitely in the wrong room for that. I can give you motivation all day long, but I'm just as ignorant as the next person. And that is something that I learned is hereditary because my poor nephew, he got it bad. But he would come to the house. And I think we taught him all our little bad habits. We taught him how to cuss, all that stuff. Now that boy off the chain. He is hilarious and just as ignorant. And he'd be like, "See, this is all y'all fault." Yeah, well, I take full responsibility for that foolishness. Hey, good. It's good to know that I'm not alone. Oh yeah, and I had a guest come in last night briefly. Sony, you missed him. I was doing I was talking about Stevie Wonder's songs in the key of life and how I feel like it is the greatest album ever. And okay, so Sir Jacob came in and he made me break it down to a genre. So I'm like, okay, it's the greatest R&B record album ever. And then he starts talking about Marvin Gaye, what's going on. So I ran into Stevie Wonder's cousin, Jimmy. Now, the crazy thing about Jimmy is now all the people that they could find for me to talk to, Jimmy's blind too. So now I got, and he knocked over all my stuff. Cause see, my apartment is not set up for the seeing impaired. I mean, the only seeing impaired person is in here is me. So, and that's because I got glasses. He's blind, like can't see, blind like Stevie Wonder blind, and so yeah, he up in here trying to tell somebody something, and then he tried to work the computer. I go to the bathroom, and he in here trying to work the computer with his. He talking about here. I heard him say, "I got to run." Where you running to? You blind? And you can. I mean, he knocked all my shit down. I'm like, man, whatever. But he'll be back. He don't have no seeing eye dog. He ain't got no cane. How you going? How you going? That don't make sense to me. How you going? How you going to go somewhere and know you can't see? You don't have nobody to hold on to. You ain't got no cane. You got no seeing eye dog. Nothing. You just blind walking. That's okay though. I'm gonna bring him back. He seemed to enjoy himself. And I'm supposed to be singing a song tomorrow night. I think I got the one I'm gonna sing. So because people they keep talking about you should sing, you can sing. Okay, I'm trying to tell y'all now we're not sing, and y'all ain't gonna want to come in here no more. But it's okay. I'm gonna give the people what they want. I'm gonna give them what they want. They want to hear me sing. I'm gonna let them hear me sing. That's what the people want. I'm here for the people. Yes, literally, blind man walking. Well, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, but we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to clear out some space for him because he is dangerous, and I don't have no insurance to cover nobody that get hurt. My homeowner's insurance don't cover. It covers stuff. It don't cover people. I mean, if he knocks something down that break, they may cover it. Maybe I can convince them that there was a earthquake or some shit, but it don't. If he fall, if he running, if he fall, it don't cover that. Yeah, I'd be glad when you get back to him too, Sonya. We really you're really missed, honey. And how is Shin? Uh-oh. All right, y'all. I have overdone my time because I got to get back to work. I got to edit this video for Aunt Maddie. But I would definitely see you all tomorrow on the love stream. I'll be on at 7. Auntie comes on at 6. Bay and Bay TV is at 5. Let's go in the correct order because we're going to do stuff. Might as well do it in order so as not to confuse anybody. Tell her I said hello, please, and hope she's doing well. Starting at 5, we have Bay and Bay TV. They are new to the love stream. They are pretty much new to YouTube, trying to, get this stuff together. They come on at 5, and then are you going live Saturday evening? Your birthday? Damn, it's already again? Whew. Seems like you just celebrated your birthday. Wow, it's been a whole year. All right, I'll see you Saturday. Um, let's see, where was oh yeah. At 5, we have Bay and Bay TV, followed by Aunt Maddie at 6 o'clock. These are all Eastern Standard Time, so as to not confuse you, so you know what time it is in your area. And after Aunt Maddie, it's me at 7, and then at 8 o'clock, we have Miss Boom Boom Boom, Miss More Eats. That is the love stream lineup. I will see you all tomorrow. Until I see you again, remember, be happy on purpose and know that I believe in you too. Good night, everybody. Love y'all like a fat kid love cake. Good night.